Have you gotten one of those pop-ups on your web browser? This is the one encouraging you to reserve your copy of Windows 10.
But should you? The answer in this Compute This.
Thor Schrock owns Schrock Innovations. Good to see you, Thor.
Good to see you guys.
So, should we do this? Okay, don't answer that question. explain what this. What's Windows 10? It's coming out.
It's like, what are we doing? Yeah. All right, now Windows 10 is coming out on the 29th of July, and it's not a matter of should you do it or will you do it. It's an automatic update from Windows 7 or 8 to Windows 10.
So it's happening whether you want it to happen or not.
Can't you put the clamps down on your computer? And
you can. If you go through a whole bunch of rigmarole, you can turn off your automatic updates, which increases your security risk. A lot of people don't realize that the normal life cycle for Windows 7 is already gone. It's already expired in January of this year, Windows 7.
So you're already at risk.
Yeah, well, you can still get updates because there's an extended support cycle for business users, but you know, Microsoft just gives them to be nice. They don't have to do it. So basically, moving on to Windows 10 is a really good idea for a few reasons. Number one, it's going to happen eventually. You're going to get it, so you may as well get it in a controlled, professional environment where you know it's going to work. Number two, it's an amazing operating system. Now, at Schrock, we've got a 100% track record calling balls and strikes on Microsoft operating systems. We've never been wrong.
And you've never, I remember there was, anytime something new comes out, Thor is so candid about it because he's not invested in that product. They don't pay him to come on and talk about it. So you're candid because you want your customers to know what they're dealing with. So you wouldn't say this is awesome if it weren't.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. In fact, you know, I just drafted a letter yesterday that we haven't sent a postal mailing to our customers in this digital age in probably 6, 7 years.
Really?
You know, but this one was so important. We were doing a postal mailing to 22,000 people on it because when Windows, this isn't the first time Microsoft has done this. When we had Windows 8 come out, you remember a few months later there was Windows 8.1, and everybody said, oh, it's the first service pack for Windows 8. It wasn't a service pack. It was a whole different new operating system.
Because there were so many issues.
There were so many issues. So they released a whole nother version and did it through an automatic update, and we saw 20% of the computers fail installing that update. We had to help put the digital lives back together when their baby pictures were gone and the data was destroyed and the computer wouldn't boot. People spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars fixing this.
And that's the risk with this new deal. So when you say 20%, you expect, again, 20% of people who have Windows 7 or 8 to experience some kind of issue with this Windows 10
Yes,
upgrade.
absolutely. So then the question is, okay, how am I going to get Windows 10? When is it going to happen? Windows 10 downloads are going to start at 12:01 a.m. on the 29th. It's going to come in waves. We don't know. If you reserve your copy, you'll be among the first. If you don't reserve your copy, you'll be among the last. If you were a Windows 10 beta tester, you will be the first because you basically already have it. They're just going to activate it for you. So basically, if you reserve your copy, if you're going to bring your computer into Schrock to have it installed in a controlled and professional environment, we're asking you to reserve your copy because you'll get your computer back more quickly. Because we can't install it until your turn comes in line. So reserve your copy.
And the reserve your copy comes in the form of a pop-up?
Yeah, there's a little pop-up.
I know people are nervous to click on pop-ups.
Yeah, this is a pop-up that shows up on your screen, and it says, you know, there's a little Windows icon down by your clock, and you can click on it if the pop-up is no longer popping. And you'll say reserve your copy. There's a button. Click the button, put in your email address. That's all you have to do to reserve your copy.
We got ours pop up on Saturday morning, and I hear Troy yell down the hall, what's this pop-up about Windows 10? Something about reserving. And I said, click it. Thor says click it. So otherwise, I would have encouraged him to skip it because you think that it's some kind of ruse. But you were talking about having people bring their computers in at Schrock. So what do you offer that if somebody kind of takes a chance and does it at home, what are you doing in the shop that's different so that there are fewer headaches on the back end?
We're expecting over 1,000 people in the service centers on the 28th. So if you want to come in on the 27th or the 26th, thank you.
Okay.
But basically, for $99 flat rate, we're going to do the Windows 10 install and all the prerequisite tests. Some people aren't getting the pop-up and they're getting concerned. Why have I not seen it? It could be because either your computer is not compatible or a device or program installed on your computer is not compatible. For example, Office 2003, Office 2007, not compatible. Some older printers, anything designed for XP, not compatible. Your old genealogy program ain't going to be compatible. You know, same thing with Windows 8, you know, but a lot of people are still on Windows 7. So you're not getting the pop-up to reserve your copy because it's not safe for you to do it. Now, on the 29th, we can actually do a compatibility check and see what the issue is and solve it so you can upgrade to Windows 10. So if you bring your computer in, we'll check your hard drive, check you for viruses, make sure your third-party software is up to date. There's an optional backup we can do to make sure your data is safe. then we can install Windows 10 and get you your computer back. So it's a very controlled environment. It's 4 to 6 hours of work for $99. You know, we're not going to become millionaires doing it, but the thing is, for 16 years, we've been in the business of preventing problems, and if we can prevent the carnage that we saw last time with Windows 8.1, that's the right thing to do. That's why we're sending this letter. That's why we're sending the email. That's why every Morning Blend segment this month has had something to do with Windows 10.
You don't want people losing their baby pictures.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, and then preparing your computer. Is there anything that people need to do aside from just calling you if they want to prepare for this Windows 10 upgrade?
If you're going to do it at home, if you feel that you're capable of doing it and you're comfortable doing it at home yourself, there are some instructions you can follow to maximize your chances of success. A lot of radio show listeners have asked us to put an article up about what's happening, what to expect. Basically, a Windows 10 frequently asked questions. It is up on our website at SchrockInnovations.com, and it includes, at the very end, if you're going to do it yourself. No, we do not recommend you do this, but if you're that guy whose wife is going to say, I told you so, and we're really close to Christmas here, guys. If you blow this, you could blow your Christmas gift. You know, you could get socks. You know, it could be bad. It could be the 2015
Thor.
I told you so moment of the year.
Thor.
So, but if you're going to do it yourself,
Yeah.
there are some specific instructions like checking your antivirus, making sure all your Windows updates are installed, making sure your third-party software is updated, and for heaven's sake, do a backup. If you don't know how to do a backup, if you're intimidated by doing a backup or any of the other steps on the list, you're better off bringing it in, because if you don't have a backup, guess who Mr. Murphy's going to come looking for?
The 29th is the date.
Yes.
You mentioned the article. It's
Before
available
the
now.
29th.
Yeah. Right. Do
Yes.
all of that before then.
The
Because
29th
at that
it starts
point,
happening.
it's like, oh boy. SchrockInnovations.com is the website where that article is available. If you want to take your computer into one of the service centers, we have the addresses on the screen here between Omaha and Papillion and Lincoln. Just call the one nearest you and take it in. As Thor said, closer to the 26th or 27th, because they're going to be stacked with computers come the 29th when everybody's trying to get Windows 10. Thank you, Thor.
Hey, thanks, guys.
It's great to see you.
We'll see you next week.
I appreciate
Good
you.
stuff. All right, gas up the car. Let's the first what to do tomorrow. It's coming your way.
Yeah, first, some of the products you might take with you on that trip, no matter where you're going this summer.